assure you, madam, my sexual interest in your dear prophet is non-existent.
This is Fuck the With Man Jackson. You're watching WGS-TV. Yeah!
The review's longer than the fucking actual. The review's longer than the actual coverage.
We are. Go ahead.
And most of them, unfortunately, I wouldn't give them 5 minutes of airtime, and his videos are running for like 43 minutes on average, and you think, are you having a fucking laugh? There wasn't 43 minutes of entertainment in Raw.
Well, while we're talking about that, folks, this is the TNA review, and you just heard a part of Andy's ranting on the review. And, Will, over to you. You're opening it up.
Alright. Welcome, evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are. This is the collaboration of HWR WGS-TV for the day of October 24, 2013. I am Will, the MVP of the Bay Area. A few people are out of action, so I gathered up these people from their graves. You heard the boss from HWR. Rick, say hi to everybody.
Hey guys, how we doing? And oh my god, that was a painful show to watch.
More painful than paint drying. And of course, Tennessee's finest, Lance, how you doing?
I'm doing good, a little under the weather, and I've coughed up more entertaining stuff than that TNA.
You better cough that up like Robitussin. And
Wouldn't mind some Robitussin right now.
And of course, our always favorited guest from Classic Wrestling Association, we got Mr. Joseph Knight. Joseph, how's your evening, sir? Joe.
Thanks for inviting me. I feel like I'm a regular now. Where's my close-up, Mr. DeVille? You know, I'd rather watch a bunch of silent movies than watch TNA.
Alright.
At least they make more sense.
Folks, we're going to debut a new segment later on called The Piss Take. Andy will be with us in a few short moments. But I would like to begin off with the opening segment of another Dixie Carter blah, whatever the fuck that was. Go ahead, Rick. Explain this mess.
Get on the Dixie train.
Oh, and there he is. There's that son of a bitch, Andy.
Okay, Andy, whip it out.
Do you want to have a ride? Do you want to have a ride on the Dixie train? Oh, come on.
Yeah, this segment was just absolutely terrible. She comes out with this whole welcome AJ, and she's just saying, oh AJ, I made a mistake, and please come on, I want you to come on in and be with me, and this and that. I got a keys for you, blah blah blah. And I'm like, my God, one minute she wants to fire this guy, then she wants to be with this guy. I'm telling you, this woman must have the worst case of fucking menopause I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. Just terrible. But, then AJ comes down, says, she's like, you don't even have to defend your title. And he's like, no, I'm going to defend my title. Bully comes down. They go back and forth. He sucker punches AJ in the stomach, goes to give her a power bomb right through the table. Lights go off. Who comes out? Mr. Anderson. That was probably the best part of the segment. He comes down, starts going back and forth with Bully, and that was pretty much it. And then all of a sudden, she comes back out, says, arrest him, he should be in my ring. And we finally go to the first match. If I had to give it a rating, the second half of the segment was pretty good, but the first half, oh my God, just get her the fuck out of the fucking TNA. Just get her off television, please. Go back to tweeting.
Alright, Rick, as we're going to get Twitter bullies, how would you rate this segment?
I'll give it a 2.5, and that's being nice, and that's only because of the second half again, where Mr. Anderson came out. Good to see him back on television.
Alright, Lance, we're going to kick it to you for Anderson gets on the mic. And what happens? Dixie orders Mr. Anderson to leave the impact zone or whatever they were in. Chime in on this.
Yeah, seems a little, like they might have took this from another company, WWE.
I guess in Lance's words, straight to the point, what are we doing? Just for health's sake for everybody here, what would you rate Anderson coming back only to have Dixie kill his joy?
Predictable, so 2 when I'm being nice.
Okay. Now we have the first match where we have a Knockouts tag team match. We have Gail Kim and Brooke versus Velvet Sky and ODB, and if Billy were here, he'd be like, Lady Tapa this or that, because we'll never...
No, if it'd be Lady, I wouldn't tap that.
And
Can I just chip it? For those that haven't watched TNA, or those of you that are looking forward to watching TNA, I don't know if it's just me, but ODB was on her hands and knees like a fucking sheepdog in the sheepdog trials. I thought she was trying round up the crowd. At one time, she was walking around the ring on all hands and knees, and I'm thinking, is this the sheepdog trials?
Maybe she just likes the doggy style.
It was finally happened.
Come by. Come by.
It finally happened. Her boots got too heavy for her to stand up straight, so that was the only way she can get around the ring.
That was the most entertaining part of the match, was watching her walking around the ring looking for contact lenses, I think.
Oh, wow. I guess we're going to have that take a little bit earlier than I thought. But, I can say about this tag team match, it was okay. I'll give it a 3, but Lady Tapa really scares me. More than I can say about Billy's rants. Next, we have his TNA debut. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Ethan Carter III as EC3. Give me a break. He took on a person named Dewey Barnes.
He was the love child of Bob Backlund.
As Joseph said that earlier, I thought that was really funny.
Or Zach Gowen with 2 legs.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I'm just still trying to figure out what was the deal with the paw on his ass, the paw print.
Pussy.
There you go.
He's got tiger skin at the front and a paw print on the back. What was all that about?
I don't know. He's got a cat fetish.
Mike Brown's old tights.
Anyway, this was a squash match. With, the exception of this guy getting, the one good missile drop kick off, Ethan. Good missile drop kick, I'll give him credit for that. Other than that, Ethan gets his finisher with the rolling headlock, which is, of course, the rip-off from Dean Ambrose, WWE's Dean Ambrose, and but still, nonetheless, a lot of people have been really knocking this guy. I still want to see what he has to offer, and so far I've been, somewhat impressed with what little we have seen of him.
That's easy for you to say.
Yeah, no shit, huh? I have to give it a 3 out of 5, for what it was.
Joe, I want to ask you a quick question, sir. What do you like about Ethan Carter III? Do you think he's going to go forward in TNA the way he's been performing? And this has only been his 2nd match.
The guy has potential. He does have the potential to become a superstar. I don't agree with him being TNA's, Dixie Carter's nephew. They would have named him Ethan Cassidy Williams. The fans could have shouted ECW. That probably would have been a lot better. He's a very good technician in the ring. He's got the look. He's got the cockiness. I still don't like the idea that they're letting the jobbers get a little bit of a heat on him. No, you want to go in there, you want to dominate, and you want to move on. I think he's the type of person that, if pushed the right way, he can make it. You can see something good out of him. I just hope that the EC3 gimmick doesn't hold him back.
Okay. Yeah, you do carry out a good point on this one. Next, we have a backstage segment of Sting and Magnus finally talking after their match at Bound for Glory. The only thing I could say is everything good in the Mafia? I don't know. What do you think, Lance?
I was paying more attention to the conversation that was happening in the call than the segment. I'm just being honest.
Okay, no, that's alright. I could chime in a little bit more on this one. I think Magnus is pretty much gonna get his heel turned, because if you paid attention to what he's been doing these last 2-3 matches, being all frustrated, and then when he made Sting tap out with the Kingsley Cloverleaf, if I'm correct. I mean, he did look impressive, and he's only 26, ladies and gentlemen. Only 26 years old. He has a lot of years ahead of him. And I'm just surprised that it didn't go to blows in this segment. So, 3. Next, we got Kurt Angle and his explanation, or the reality explanation of why he didn't really accept the match, and he talked more about what happened in his match with Bobby Roode. And Lord and behold, here comes the winner of that match. Oh Lord Jesus, hell, bang on a stick. Go ahead, Rick. What about this with Angle and Roode?
Long story made really incredibly short. Roode just pretty much just comes down and just says, I pretty much won the match. Wasn't too happy about the fact that he couldn't make him tap. Obviously, this is big a lineup for a future submission match. Angle grabs the mic, says, "You know what? I want to fight you tonight." Roode says, "Well, you can't fight tonight because everybody, unlike everybody, knows that you're not cleared to wrestle." Angle's like, "Well, I can't wrestle, but of course I can fight." They start throwing blows, and of course, instantly security pulls them apart. That was in the segment. The segment really didn't. It pushed it. It set up for the next match, and it did what it had to do. So 3 out of 5, special.
Okay. Joseph, I have another question to chime to you, good sir. Now that we know that Angle was fresh out his rehab, but he lost that Bound for Glory, does this signify anything with Angle going forward, or is he going to the WWE? What do you think your thoughts are?
I think right now, I'm really a little bit more curious of what he plans to do. Again, he actually didn't accept his award or didn't ask for it or anything. I think they're trying to keep him as much into TNA. They're trying to give him storylines. They're trying to build him up. They're trying to give him a good run with Bobby Roode. And regardless of anything, guys, Bobby Roode's a great talent. His mic skills need a little work, but he's fine. I honestly, I'm a bit puzzled what they really want to do with Kurt. Honestly, I think he should leave. He should go to the WWE, get his last big paycheck, get a legitimate Hall of Fame entry into the WWE's Hall of Fame, possibly show up at WrestleMania and take some time off to truly heal, and then come back strong. TNA right now cannot offer this man anything else to do, especially with their limited titles. So he really needs to drop TNA and move on.
Do you think, though, that's the hold why he's still with TNA now? Because they've given him the prestigious Hall of Fame award, but storyline is that they haven't actually given it him. He's declined it. So do you think that's the way that they'll say, well, if you leave, Kate, you won't get your award?
Well, let's face it. What is the TNA Hall of Fame? It's a rip-off of the Hall of Fame, but other companies have done Hall of Fames. But let's face it, it's a minute little thing. It's not like the WWE's Grand Hall of Fame or the Cauliflower Hall of Fame. It's TNA just doing this and inducting one person. Come on now. It's not anything significant. If you want to be inducted in a Hall of Fame, you want to go to the major place in the Hall of Fame. You want to go to a place where you're going to get the big publicity.
Joe, can I chime in for a second?
Sure thing.
Okay, I just read an article, and this was he was on a radio station at Phillips 93.7, and Kurt Angle still is locked in with TNA for well over 14 months. He is in a contract.
Oh, so that blows up the idea of WrestleMania, so...
Yeah, he will not be going. There's no way, unless if he buys out his contract. Even if he buys, he'd have to sit out on his contract.
Do you think, though, Rixie, because they've done it in the past, would do some kind of
agreement,
swap like for like she did with Ric Flair?
I don't think so, because what's the benefit? Who would they take for Kurt Angle? What's the benefit? I mean, that's just like, you know, I don't see the any up.
Keep the lights on?
Yeah.
You know what? I think if WWE wanted to present Kurt Angle a Hall of Fame induction, I think TNA will let him do it. But I think the only way they will agree to let him do it if he agrees to take their Hall of Fame first. That's the only way I can see it happening. Yes. And really, there's no one in WWE they can work with.
Okay. And Rick, how would you rate the Angle Rude segment?
Like I said before, it was just right down the middle 3.
Okay. Next, we got the little celebration in the ring with the Bromance, the new TNA World Tag Team Champions, Jan. And what is wrong with that DJ? Are we in Newark or what? Alright, Lance, go ahead. What did you think of this little Jersey Shore fiasco?
That's what it was. A fiasco. Especially that startup. I mean, it's like, okay, Andy brought this up. The inputs, there was one chord. For him to be playing with something, sorry, I know I'm a little hoarse, but still. For him to be messing with stuff, there's got to be something hooked up. And then you have the obvious break up the party, which... Has there ever been a celebration that's gone as planned in the, quote, modern era of wrestling?
Not to my knowledge. I don't think so.
So we all saw that coming. Then we heard, sorry about your damn luck. Then Gunner and Storm come down. Then they start brawling. Then, well, somehow Bad Influence comes down. Then, Young and Parks come down. They all big brawl. From what I remember, Parks gets a bottle bust over his head, lays down for a second, comes up bleeding, takes out somebody, and that's about end of segment.
And what would you rate this circus of the segment?
2.5, right straight down the middle.
Alright, Joseph, my next question to you, sir, is do you think the Bromance are going to have a legitimate time with the belts, or do you see them dropping them anytime soon?
You know, I see them holding on to the belts for a while, because if you look at it, the reason they were given the belts in the first place is to give new talent a chance to prove themselves. You know, we've seen Gunner and Storm hold the belts. We've seen Daniels and Cass hold the belts. I think they just want to try these other people to start moving the belts around. And that's a very good idea. Say what you will about the Bromans and all that. You know, they're a joke, yes. You know, but again, it's a new face. It's somebody new. So I see them holding on to the belts to maybe 2 more pay-per-views, and then they'll lose it.
Okay, I understand that. That's a good theory. And
if I could say one more thing too, the Joseph Parks gimmick and Abyss. You know, personally, I see Joseph Parks as the joke, and he is the joke. I really, as much as I feel that the Abyss character is a good character, even though it's a ripoff of Kane, if I wanted to see Joseph Parks resume that character again, I would have him lose about 50 pounds, 75 pounds, work hard in the gym, maybe have Kurt Angle help him train, get into really a better shape than being an oversized fat goof. So when Abyss comes back, he's power. He looks great. He'll look powerful. I think right now it's a big waste to put this guy even back in the mask, or even have him as Joseph Parks. He to me, he looks. It's just a ridiculous thing.
Okay, understandable. And now, Rick, our final match, and I mean, wow, only 3 matches for Impact, is the rematch for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship match. AJ, the champion, Bully Ray, the challenger. Go ahead, Bausch.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'll have to say one thing, that this was probably the best of the 3 matches, which isn't hard to say, but it was still, nonetheless, a really good match for what it was. We'll just get right down to the cut to the chase. Ref gets knocked down. AJ has Bully in the calf killer. Ref gets down. Of course, Bully's tapping like a bitch. So, of course, AJ has to get up and check on the ref. Bully picks up the chain. AJ turns around. Bully takes him down with the chain. Then, of course, Bully hits him with the Bully cutter, which is basically an RKO. Goes for the pin. 1, 2. AJ kicks out. Bully's goes to grab the chain again, and then again, Anderson pops up on the apron out of nowhere. Then he chokes out Bully on the top apron. Bully spins around. He pins, and then AJ grabs him with the crucifix pin. 1, 2, 3. Title retains. Good match for what it was, but still, considering everything of the rest of the night, it should have been a much better match. It's 3.5, and that's giving it.
And finally, we have the segment of all segments. Dixie Carter trying to get AJ to sign this contract to end Impact. Go ahead, Lance. Give us your few moments of this little soap opera.
Somebody else needs to. Really wasn't paying attention.
Alright, Joe, I guess you want to chime in on this?
That's how interesting it was. Dixie Carter looks, she's the worst actress there ever was. And I know people will say, well, wrestling, it has bad actors. I think as a company owner, Vince does a hell of a job when he does his segments. Like him or hate him, he does a great segment. With either putting himself over or having somebody else put himself over. Dixie, it's just like AJ could have done better if he had a mannequin in the ring. He would have probably got better reaction out of it. Dixie should be nowhere near a mic. It should be a federal offense to have her on the mic. To have AJ Styles go through this gimmick with him, which is a good story, even though it's a CM Punkish. But I was so bored of it. I just glanced back and forth because I just don't see really. I'm just not interested because of Dixie Carter. I think if they would have had somebody else running the show and some other individual going and doing the whole scenario, like a different general manager or somebody, then I can actually get into it. But Dixie Carter just looks horrible in the ring. She looks like she's her hair is all screwy, and she looks like she's tired. And to me, she goes from evil boss to please, sir, can I have another? It's like she's begging people. Her character, nobody knows. She's a schizophrenic. Nobody knows what she's going to do next. So I think it was a big waste of airtime. I think it's a waste of time for everybody to sit down and watch this.
You ain't lying. You ain't lying, sir.
And I can just turn the lamp on and do puppet shadows, hand shadows on the wall, and I'll be entertained. But there you go.
Alright. Would you like to give us a rating for the match, or say forget?
You know what? I would give it. And this is being extremely generous. And this is like a 1.5.
Ouch.
And again, it's not because of AJ. It's because Dixie does not have, quote unquote, the impact for this.
Alright. And now we're going to get to our little thing here we call best or worst match or segment. And I'll go first. Best segment would have to be basically Sting and Magnus, because basically after that match, like I said earlier, they didn't go to blows. Magnus just wanted to prove that, he can hang with the veterans. And, he has a lot of years ahead of him. So, I'm very looking forward to see what Magnus could do in a few years to come. Worst segment? Oh, Lord. Bromance, you guys need a better DJ. That dude looks like he could do parties for Chuck E. Cheese. Because I was not impressed at all. Best match would have to be the world title match. Worst one, I'm sorry. I understand TNA is trying to get talent. Don't get me wrong. There's talent. But Ethan Carter, what he did to Mr. Dewey Barnes was... Yeah, well, you guys get the picture. Rick, it's your turn. Best or worst match or segment to you.
Well, I think we know what the best match was. Obviously, it was the main event. The worst, everything else. Sorry, I'll just leave it at that. This show for a return. I mean, it's just. It was just a train wreck. I'm sorry.
That bad of a train wreck. Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
That fucking train hit a fucking wall, kept on going, he went off the fucking bridge and exploded.
Alright, we'll go to Lance. Lance, give us your best and worst. Match your segment.
Best, the main event. Worst, rest of the damn show.
And that's 10 seconds or less. Joe, you want to give us your thoughts on this best and worst?
The best match, again, I gotta agree with everybody, world title match. Bully Ray's a great, he does play the good heel, and AJ's the good underdog. The worst? Oh jeez, make a pick. To me, it was the entire show. That's nothing. I can't even. I don't have any more words. So the worst, everything. The one good thing out of the show was the world title.
Alright. And with that said, we're about to come to a close, but you know what? Rick from HDR just gave us one little idea, and we're going to debut this just to piss off Billy a little bit. This is called Andy's Piss Take.
Andy, it's time for you to whip it out.
Again?
Whoa. Let's get the Gallagher plastic here first.
My takes on what I've seen tonight on the TNA thing was, I enjoyed the beginning, I enjoyed the end. It's the bit in the middle I couldn't be doing with. And a world famous singer, and I don't know if you guys in America know this guy, but if you don't, where the fuck have you been? Tom Jones sang a song in the 70s, Why Delilah. I think we should end tonight's show with Why Dixie. I'm sorry, but we should have a dedicated tune to Why Dixie. I really do, because each week I watch the show and I think it can't get worse, and it does. And at what point is it going to get better? And I just don't see that point coming anytime soon, unless there's a big shake-up in the wrestling industry. And it's not just bitching at TNA. WWE's exactly the same. It needs a revamp. It needs change. And before you people start trolling on the bottom of the video here on YouTube, no, we don't want another Attitude Era. Get a grip on yourself. We want a new era, something that we can look back on in 10 years' time and say, that was the best time in wrestling for me. That's what we need. Come out with some ideas, post them at the bottom. I'll send them to Vince personally and say, look, this is how it should be done. Listen to the guys at HWR. They know what they're talking about. Sack your writers.
Hire us.
Yeah, hire us. We're cheap.
Alright.
Says you.
Give me a box of tissues. I'll come anywhere.
Wow. And that is just...
I don't even think my grandmother could write worse stories, and she's been dead since 1982.
Is it me or it sounds like Dixie Carter's writer staff for the Three Stooges?
you at least we'd have a laugh if it was just Three Stooges. What? I think you said...
go on one of your Stoked Haunted sessions and you need to find the spirit of a good booker and bring him back. Let him possess Dixie or somebody.
I think she's already possessed. Don't know what she's possessed by, but she's possessed by something.
And while everybody is getting off her train, and hopefully we burned our tickets, this is going to wrap it up. Rick, where can people find you at, sir?
Of course, they can always find me over at my Facebook page. That's facebook.com/hardcore wrestling radio. Anytime you want to listen to any of our shows, you can head over to the Spreaker page. That's Spreaker.com/HWR Media. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page. That's youtube.com/HWR Show.
And here he is, folks, that one son of a... Andy, where can people find you at, good sir?
Yes, you can find me on Facebook or Twitter or my webpage where all the links can be found, which is www.stokehaunted.com, or you can find me on hairyhamster.net.
You too?
Lance, where can they find you at on YouTube?
Lance Moss TV. I will be making more videos once my voice is back to normal. I do album reviews, NASCAR reviews, a little bit of wrestling, Q&As, and cooking videos and whatever's tossing in my head.
Alright, and Lance getting better. And Joseph, where can people find you at on CWA?
Well, they can find us at www.classicwrestlingassociation.com. You also can find us on Facebook. That's also classicwrestlingassociation.com. And if not, they can always find me tied up to a chair here, listening to TNA's reviews. Help, help! You can cut me loose now. Oh, the pain, the pain.
He pushed the lotion in the basket.
Alright, and with that said, for Rick, Lance, Joseph, and Andy, and wherever James is at somewhere, this is Will saying, see you when we see you, and if you buy tickets to the Dixie train, get off of it immediately. And Billy, sorry for the piss take. Tonight's episode has been sponsored today by the letters D, C, and by the number 5.
Are you still going to send Tappa over to Billy's house?
Oh, damn it.
I thought she was already over there. That's why Billy wasn't here tonight.
Oh, somebody's tapping Tappa.
It might be Billy.
So he lied to us.
Yep.
Until they see you, well, we see you.
Stoke Haunted. Stoke Haunted. Stoke Haunted. Stoke Haunted. Spiritual medium. Stoke Haunted. Stoke Haunted. I'm Haley Ringrose. Stoke Haunted.
My name's Andrew Weatherall.
Spiritual medium. Stoke Haunted.